Ladies and gentlemen, in our fast-paced world where noise and distractions are constant, there is immense power in silence. Working hard in silence is an act of inner dedication and commitment to growth that doesn't rely on the approval of others. The work you put in, the effort you invest, and the progress you make should not depend on external validation. This is where true transformation happens within yourself in the quiet moments of focus and persistence. True transformation begins within. The idea of working hard in silence is not just about avoiding the distractions of the world, but about cultivating a focused, inner mindset that drives you to pursue growth without needing external acknowledgement. This inner focus is what allows you to tap into your potential on a deeper level, pushing beyond the limitations that might otherwise hold you back. When you learn to work in silence, you're not simply avoiding the noise around you, you're consciously directing your energy inward to build a foundation for long-term success. In our modern society, there's an overwhelming temptation to seek instant results, immediate recognition, and constant validation from others. The success stories we often hear are the ones that are loud, public, and celebrated by millions. However, those who achieve lasting transformation know that real change is rarely instantaneous and that it takes place quietly in the moments when no one else is watching. These silent moments are the building blocks of meaningful progress where the real work happens away from the eyes of the world. This internal focus requires an understanding that true change begins in the mind. Before any external transformation can occur, you must first create the internal shift necessary to make it happen. Our thoughts shape our reality. And when we begin to focus on the possibility of transformation rather than the obstacles, we begin the process of creating change. The power of the mind is unparalleled. If you direct your energy inward, consistently reinforcing your goals and visions, your mind starts to align with your body and actions, and over time, your reality begins to reflect your internal intentions. This requires discipline. The mind is full of distractions, and without focus, it's easy to be pulled off course. It takes a deliberate effort to silence the noise of self-doubt, insecurity, and the constant barrage of information that comes from external sources. Working hard in silence means learning how to control your thoughts, shaping them to support your vision. This is not about avoiding challenges or pretending they don't exist, but rather about learning how to work through them with the understanding that the external world is not the measure of your success. Success begins with your internal belief in what is possible. Another important aspect of working in silence is the ability to detach from the need for immediate rewards. Too often we equate hard work with the need for quick acknowledgement or feedback. We think that if we work hard enough, someone should notice, praise us, or offer recognition. However, when we work in silence, we free ourselves from this expectation. The work itself becomes the reward. The act of striving toward a goal, the small victories achieved through consistency, and the growth experienced in the process become more important than any external acknowledgement. This focus allows you to work with an almost meditative quality. In this silence, there's an inherent trust in the process of growth and development. You understand that transformation doesn't happen because someone tells you you're doing well, or because there's a clear path laid out before you. Instead, it happens because you've committed to the journey, to the inner process of change, and to the silent work that occurs in every moment. And as you continue to focus inward, the world begins to see the change in your actions and your habits, in the way you carry yourself. This is the silent work that becomes loud in its results. When you cultivate this inner focus, you align yourself with your deepest goals, your most authentic desires. You are no longer swayed by the noise of the world, the distractions of fleeting success, or the expectations placed on you by others. You become your own source of motivation, driven by your personal vision rather than the applause of the crowd. This kind of inner focus is what makes sustainable change possible. It's the understanding that working hard in silence is not a temporary phase, but a lifelong practice that requires ongoing commitment and discipline. By creating this internal shift, you begin to understand that growth is not linear. There will be days of progress and days where things feel stagnant. But through it all, your focus remains on the long-term outcome, not the immediate gratification. Over time, this consistent effort in silence builds momentum, and while the world may not see the work immediately, it will soon become clear in the results that follow. True transformation is a quiet, internal process. It starts with focus, discipline, and a commitment to working toward your goals without the need for external validation. By working in silence, you are laying the foundation for lasting success, creating the conditions for growth to emerge at its own pace. The strength to continue comes not from the praise of others, but from the belief that your hard work will eventually speak for itself. And as you continue on your journey, the world will begin to see the manifestation of your silent efforts, louder than any words could ever express. Consistency becomes your greatest ally when you work hard in silence. It's not the grand gestures or bursts of intense effort that lead to lasting success, but rather the quiet, steady actions taken day after day. The process of working quietly behind the scenes without expecting immediate rewards allows you to build a solid foundation for long-term achievement. True progress is made not by occasional acts of brilliance, but by consistent, deliberate effort applied over time, regardless of whether anyone is watching. The path to success is often misunderstood as something that happens quickly through big moments of recognition or sudden breakthroughs. However, this type of thinking can mislead us into believing that progress only matters when it's immediately visible or celebrated by others. In reality, the most significant transformations are often those that take place in the background, in the steady grind of daily effort. When you commit to working in silence, you're committing to a path of consistent action, understanding that the small steps you take now will compound over time to create substantial progress. It's easy to get discouraged when you don't see results right away. The world may be moving quickly and the pace of others may seem faster, but this is where the power of consistency comes into play. Consistency is not about forcing something to happen in a hurry or seeking the next instant result. It's about knowing that every action you take, no matter how small, brings you closer to your goal. The daily choices, the small habits you build, and the quiet work you put in day after day are what make the difference in the long run. While the world focuses on short-term victories, those who understand the value of consistency focus on the process and trust that it will lead them to greater success. There's a deeper psychological shift that happens when you embrace the power of consistency in your silent work. Instead of placing your focus on the immediate outcome, you start to align yourself with the long-term rewards of your actions. You understand that the effort you put in today may not yield visible results tomorrow, but it is never wasted. Every effort compounds, even if it doesn't feel like it. Over time, the sense of quiet, unwavering consistency builds the resilience needed to keep going, even when the world doesn't notice your efforts or when progress feels slow. The process itself becomes its own source of motivation, and you develop a deep belief in the power of small, consistent actions. This steady progress requires patience and a willingness to embrace discomfort. Working hard in silence doesn't always feel glamorous, and there are moments when the process seems arduous and unremarkable. But it is in those moments that consistency plays its most powerful role. It teaches you to remain committed even when the immediate results aren't visible. By continuing to show up day after day, you build both physical and mental strength. This consistency is what helps you endure the inevitable setbacks, the moments of doubt, and the frustrations that come with any pursuit of greatness. Consistency helps you build momentum, just like a snowball that starts small and gains size as it rolls. Your efforts, no matter how small, begin to gather momentum over time. In the beginning, the work might feel like a single, isolated action, but as you continue, each small step propels you forward, and before you know it, you've built a much larger and more impactful path toward your goals. This momentum is powerful because it's a force that begins to carry itself. The more consistent you are, the more the work starts to move in your favor. You begin to see how each quiet effort, each decision to stick with the process pays off in ways you might not have expected when you first started. Working in silence while maintaining consistency allows you to distance yourself from the distractions of comparison. In a world where social media and external feedback can easily influence our sense of success, working in silence teaches you to rely on your own internal compass. You stop comparing your journey to that of others and start measuring your progress based on your own standards. The consistency you develop in your silent work becomes your anchor, allowing you to remain focused on your own growth rather than seeking constant validation from others. One of the most profound benefits of working hard in silence with consistency is the deep sense of self-trust you build. Every time you commit to the process, even without immediate feedback, you reinforce your belief in your ability to succeed. You become less reliant on external praise and more confident in your own inner ability to make progress. Over time, this self-trust creates a foundation that allows you to navigate challenges with resilience and perseverance, knowing that your silent, consistent efforts will eventually lead to the results you seek. The value of consistency and working hard in silence cannot be overstated. It's not the loud, immediate bursts of activity that lead to success, but the steady, quiet efforts repeated over time. Working with consistency in silence creates a powerful momentum that helps you stay focused, build resilience, and maintain your commitment to the process, even when results aren't immediately apparent. The greatest successes often come from the consistent invisible. Inner drive and the long-term vision that fuels your journey. This mindset shift not only accelerates your personal growth, but also empowers you to achieve success on your own terms without being dependent on the recognition of others. When we work for validation, we often become distracted by what others think, and this can lead us to question our efforts when they aren't acknowledged. External validation becomes a measure of our self-worth, and we can find ourselves constantly checking for signs of approval, whether through likes on social media, praise from superiors, or compliments from peers. While external feedback can be affirming and motivating in some contexts, it is not sustainable as the main driver for success. The problem arises when we become overly reliant on these external markers to gauge our progress. If we don't receive the recognition we expect, it can cause frustration, self-doubt, and a sense of stagnation. The act of working in silence breaks this cycle. It encourages you to focus solely on the intrinsic rewards of your work, on the satisfaction of doing something meaningful, on the progress you are making, and on the growth you are experiencing internally. When you focus on these intrinsic aspects of your efforts, you become less concerned with how others perceive you and more attuned to your own process. This shift allows you to make decisions based on what aligns with your values and goals rather than what will get you the most recognition. You stop measuring success by the reactions of others and begin to define it by your own standards and progress. One of the most profound aspects of working in silence is the freedom it offers. When you disconnect from the external need for validation, you open up space for creativity, self-reflection, and true personal growth. Without the constant pressure to meet the expectations of others, you are free to pursue your work in a way that feels authentic to you. This allows you to explore new ideas, experiment without fear of judgment, and take risks that might otherwise feel too intimidating. In silence, you can create and grow on your own terms, unencumbered by the weight of others' opinions. Working in silence cultivates resilience. By not seeking constant validation, you become more capable of pushing through challenges and setbacks without needing external reassurances. You begin to trust in the process and in your own abilities, which creates a strong foundation for growth. When you aren't focused on the praise or recognition you might receive from others, you develop a deeper sense of confidence in your own capacity to navigate difficulties. This internal confidence is powerful because it allows you to persist in the face of adversity, knowing that the work itself is enough to sustain you. The work you do in silence tends to be more authentic. When you're not constantly checking for approval or adjusting your actions to meet others' expectations, you are more likely to stay true to yourself and your goals. This authenticity strengthens your connection to your work as it becomes something you do for your own growth, not for the approval of others. It creates a deep sense of ownership over what you are doing and reinforces your commitment to your purpose. The internal satisfaction that comes from working without seeking validation is often far more fulfilling than any external recognition. The sense of accomplishment that arises from achieving something on your own without needing validation from others is deeply rewarding. This type of fulfillment comes from knowing that you stayed true to your vision, that you worked through the process, and that you achieved your goals through your own effort and determination. It creates a sense of pride that is far more lasting than any applause could ever provide. Over time, this internal focus on growth rather than recognition helps to align you more fully with your goals. You start to value the process more than the outcome, recognizing that each step taken toward your goal is an achievement in itself. In turn, this mindset allows you to stay motivated even when external rewards are slow to appear. You trust in the journey, knowing that every silent step brings you closer to your desired outcome, even if that outcome isn't immediately visible to others. The results of working hard in silence will inevitably speak for themselves. While the world may not see the effort behind the scenes, the success that emerges from quiet, consistent work is undeniable. Over time, others will take notice of the results you've achieved. The recognition you once sought externally will naturally follow, but by that time, you will have built a deeper understanding of what true success feels like. It will no longer be dependent on external applause, because the real satisfaction comes from knowing that your work and effort were enough, regardless of whether or not they were noticed. The decision to work hard in silence and remove the need for external validation is one of the most empowering shifts you can make. It frees you from the distractions and limitations of seeking constant approval, allowing you to focus fully on your internal drive and growth. It teaches you resilience, authenticity, and the importance of trusting the process. Ultimately, it leads to a deeper sense of fulfillment, because the satisfaction of knowing you are on the right path becomes far more meaningful than any external recognition could ever be. Working hard in silence requires a level of self-mastery and discipline that goes beyond just achieving short-term results. It's a process of learning how to control your impulses, stay focused on your long-term goals, and trust in the power of consistent effort. This type of discipline isn't about rigidly following a set routine. It's about developing the inner strength to remain focused even when there are distractions, temptations, or setbacks. It's about learning how to prioritize your future success over momentary gratification, understanding that true growth requires effort and patience, often without any immediate reward or acknowledgement. One of the first aspects of self-mastery is the ability to control the impulses that seek instant gratification. In a world where distractions are everywhere, from social media notifications to the pull of procrastination, it can be easy to lose focus on what truly matters. Working in silence means choosing to act in alignment with your deeper goals, even when it would be easier to give in to those momentary urges. It's about training your mind to prioritize what will benefit you in the long run rather than what feels good right now. Self-mastery involves the conscious decision to do the hard work when it's required without needing an external push or immediate pleasure. The discipline to work in silence is not just about resisting distractions, it's also about cultivating a routine that aligns with your goals and sticking to it even when motivation wanes. The truth is that motivation alone is rarely enough to achieve lasting success. Motivation is fleeting, it comes and goes depending on external circumstances or how we feel on any given day. Discipline, on the other hand, is something you can rely on consistently. By establishing routines that prioritize the actions necessary to reach your goals, you build a framework for success that doesn't depend on motivation. You simply follow through, day after day, with the confidence that each action is contributing to your growth, even when it doesn't feel immediately rewarding. Self-mastery also involves learning how to handle failure. When you work hard in silence, there will inevitably be moments of disappointment, setbacks, and obstacles. These challenges are an unavoidable part of any journey, but they don't need to derail your progress. Developing self-discipline means learning how to embrace failure as a lesson, not as a reason to quit. Every setback is an opportunity to learn, grow, and refine your approach. Working silently allows you to adjust course without needing the validation of others, and it gives you the space to reflect on your mistakes, learn from them, and move forward stronger and more resilient than before. Another important aspect of self-mastery is the ability to stay patient and trust the process. When you work in silence, you are often working toward long-term goals that may not be immediately visible or tangible. The fruits of your labor may take time to show up, and that can be discouraging. It's easy to get impatient, especially when the world around you seems to be moving faster. However, self-discipline involves developing the patience to stay the course even when the results aren't immediately apparent. You understand that every step you take is laying the groundwork for future success, and that true growth is often a slow and steady process. Discipline also involves making sacrifices sometimes in the short term for the sake of long-term gain. This can mean giving up immediate pleasures or activities that don't align with your bigger goals. It could be sacrificing time spent on distractions or letting go of unhealthy habits that are holding you back. Working in silence requires you to be clear about what you want to achieve and to make conscious choices that reflect that commitment. Each decision you make, no matter how small, either brings you closer to your goals or pulls you further away from them. Discipline means continuously making decisions that align with your vision even when they are not easy or convenient. As you continue to practice self-discipline and work hard in silence, something incredible begins to happen. You start to develop an unwavering trust in yourself. You begin to realize that you are capable of far more than you initially believed. The effort you put in, the consistency you maintain, and the resilience you develop become sources of internal confidence. Over time, this self-belief becomes an unshakable foundation that allows you to pursue even bigger goals with the certainty that you will find a way to achieve them. You no longer rely on the external world to give you the confidence to keep going. Instead, you trust your own inner strength and ability to overcome challenges. Self-mastery helps you become more mindful of your thoughts and actions. When you work in silence, you start to pay more attention to your internal dialogue and how it influences your behavior. You begin to recognize negative thought patterns, such as self-doubt or impatience, and learn how to shift them in a more constructive direction. This heightened awareness helps you remain focused and resilient, as you no longer allow negative thoughts to derail your progress. You become the master of your mind, choosing to cultivate thoughts that support your goals and reject those that don't. Working hard in silence and practicing self-mastery is a powerful combination that leads to lasting success. It's about developing the discipline to stay focused and consistent even when external rewards aren't immediately visible. It's about learning to trust the process, embrace, and make decisions that align with your long-term vision. Self-discipline doesn't just lead to external achievement, it also fosters inner strength and self-belief. As you continue to practice self-mastery in your silent work, you will discover that you are capable of far more than you once imagined. And ultimately, this inner power will propel you toward achieving your most ambitious goals. The ability to detach from the need for immediate rewards is crucial in any journey of growth and transformation. It's easy to think that hard work must always be rewarded quickly, that every action we take should lead to some form of external acknowledgement or success. However, real transformation doesn't operate on that timeline. In fact, one of the most empowering aspects of working hard in silence is learning how to detach from the pursuit of immediate rewards and instead focus on the deeper, long-term vision that guides your efforts. This shift in focus is not only essential for personal growth, but also for creating lasting success, because the process of transformation is often gradual and requires a deep commitment to consistency over time. When you are focused on immediate rewards, you are essentially looking for external validation to justify the effort you are putting in. This creates a cycle where your motivation is constantly tied to how quickly you see results, which can become discouraging when those results don't appear right away. We live in a world where instant gratification is common, whether it's through the quick feedback of social media, fast food, or even the rapid nature of modern communication. However, true growth, whether personal, professional, or creative, requires patience and long-term focus. If you're constantly chasing rewards, you may find it difficult to stay engaged with the process itself, and it may even cause you to give up when progress seems slow. Detaching from the need for instant rewards allows you to embrace the process of growth itself. It enables you to shift your focus from external outcomes to internal fulfillment. When you work in silence, without the expectation of immediate acknowledgement, you begin to realize that the true reward is the personal development and learning that happen along the way. Every action, no matter how small, contributes to your overall growth and brings you closer to your ultimate goal. This change in perspective transforms the way you view hard work. It becomes a continuous journey of self-improvement rather than a means to an end. Learning to detach from immediate rewards also helps to build a deeper sense of resilience. In any journey of transformation, there will be times when you don't see progress, when the results of your hard work are invisible to others or even to yourself. These moments can be discouraging if you are focused solely on the external outcomes. However, by detaching from the need for immediate recognition, you develop the inner strength to keep going regardless of how things appear on the surface. You learn to trust the process, knowing that the seeds you are planting now will eventually yield fruit, even if the growth isn't visible immediately. Detachment from instant rewards can make you more adaptable in the face of challenges. When you are not fixated on achieving immediate results, you are less likely to be discouraged by obstacles. You become more flexible in your approach, more willing to adapt, and more persistent in the face of difficulties. You understand that the path to success is rarely linear, and you are open to taking the necessary detours or learning from mistakes without losing sight of your long-term vision. This adaptability strengthens your ability to navigate uncertainty, which is a critical skill for anyone working towards significant transformation. This mindset shift also encourages you to redefine what success means. When you are no longer measuring success by external markers, you start to develop a deeper, more personal definition of achievement. Success becomes about growth, progress, and the satisfaction of knowing you are putting in the work. Instead of looking to others to confirm your progress, you begin to feel a sense of accomplishment from within. You recognize that every effort, no matter how small, is a step forward, and this sense of progress becomes its own reward. Another important element of detaching from immediate rewards is the development of patience. In a culture that often celebrates rapid results, patience can feel like a rare and almost countercultural virtue. But when you detach from the need for instant gratification, you cultivate the patience necessary to stay committed to your goals, even when the outcome feels distant. You come to understand that the real power lies in your ability to persevere through the quiet moments, trusting that the effort you put in today will lead to meaningful results down the line. Patience allows you to maintain a long-term perspective, even in the face of short-term challenges. This practice of detachment also frees you from the burden of comparison. When you are constantly looking for external validation, it's easy to compare your progress with that of others. Social media, for example, often amplifies this tendency where people post their achievements and it may seem like everyone else is progressing faster than you. However, when you detach from the need for immediate rewards, you no longer feel the need to compare your journey to anyone else's. You begin to focus purely on your own path, your own growth, and your own unique timeline. This reduces the pressure to conform to external standards and allows you to move at your own pace, fully immersed in the process. Detaching from the need for immediate rewards also helps you to cultivate a deeper sense of satisfaction with the work itself. You begin to derive joy and fulfillment from the process rather than the outcome. This shift is profound because it means that even if the external rewards don't come immediately, you are still deriving meaning from the work you are doing. You are no longer dependent on recognition or outcomes to feel validated. You find intrinsic satisfaction in knowing that you are doing the work that is aligned with your values and purpose. The ability to detach from the need for immediate rewards is a key component of working hard in silence. It allows you to focus on the process of growth, to build resilience in the face of challenges, and to develop patience and adaptability. By redefining success and learning to find fulfillment in the journey rather than the outcome, you create a solid foundation for lasting transformation. Detachment from external rewards frees you from comparison and pressure, allowing you to work with authenticity and alignment to your own vision. Ultimately, this mindset shift leads to deeper satisfaction, a more meaningful connection to your work, and the ability to stay committed to your goals over the long term, regardless of when or if external validation arrives. The journey of working hard in silence is deeply connected to personal transformation and growth, and one of the most important aspects of this journey is the internal fulfillment that emerges from focusing on your own process rather than seeking external validation. True satisfaction does not come from the applause or recognition of others, but from knowing you are engaged in meaningful work that aligns with your deepest values and goals. This internal fulfillment is the driving force that allows you to stay committed to your path, even in the absence of external feedback or praise. When you learn to find joy and meaning in the process itself rather than in the outcome, you create a powerful foundation for sustained success and personal growth. This shift toward internal fulfillment is transformative because it frees you from the need for constant validation. In a world that often measures success through the lens of external achievements such as awards, promotions, or social media likes, it can be easy to become caught in a cycle of seeking approval and recognition from others. While external acknowledgement can be motivating in the short term, it can also be fleeting and unreliable. The satisfaction that comes from receiving external praise may give you a temporary sense of accomplishment, but it doesn't provide the lasting fulfillment that comes from knowing you are doing the right work for the right reasons. When you focus on internal fulfillment, you are able to shift your attention away from what others think and focus entirely on your own growth. This allows you to work without the pressure of needing immediate validation. Instead of seeking recognition, you begin to find satisfaction in knowing that you are steadily progressing toward your goals. The work itself becomes its own reward as you find meaning in the actions you take and the progress you make. This internal fulfillment is not dependent on any outside source. It is rooted in your connection to the process and the intrinsic value you place on the work itself. Internal fulfillment also fosters a deeper sense of purpose. When you are driven by the desire to create something meaningful rather than to gain approval, you begin to connect more deeply with the reasons behind your efforts. Your work becomes an expression of your values, your passions, and your long-term vision. This sense of purpose becomes a powerful motivator as it is not contingent on external outcomes. It is a deep internal drive that pushes you forward even when the path is challenging or when progress feels slow. The more connected you are to your purpose, the more resilient you become in the face of setbacks, knowing that the work you are doing is important, regardless of whether anyone else notices or appreciates it. Working for internal fulfillment allows you to embrace the concept of delayed gratification. In a world where immediate results are often prioritized, the ability to delay gratification becomes a skill that can set you apart. By choosing to focus on long-term goals rather than seeking instant rewards, you build the patience and perseverance necessary to achieve meaningful success. The work you do in silence, without the expectation of quick results or validation, becomes a process of planting seeds that will one day bear fruit. The understanding that real growth takes time and effort helps you to stay patient and committed, even when the rewards are not immediately visible. Internal fulfillment also empowers you to be more authentic. When you are not constantly seeking validation, you are free to express yourself more fully and to pursue your goals without fear of judgment. You begin to trust yourself and your own judgment, knowing that your decisions are guided by your values and not by the desire to impress others. This authenticity creates a deeper sense of fulfillment because you are living and working in alignment with who you truly are. You no longer feel the need to conform to external expectations or to mold your actions to fit someone else's definition of success. Instead, you follow your own path, making decisions that are true to your values and your vision. Seeking instant rewards, you build the patience and perseverance necessary to achieve meaningful success. The work you do in silence, without the expectation of quick results or validation, becomes a process of planting seeds that will one day bear fruit. The understanding that real growth takes time and effort helps you to stay patient and committed, even when the rewards are not immediately visible. Internal fulfillment also empowers you to be more authentic. When you are not constantly seeking validation, you are free to express yourself more fully and to pursue your goals without fear of judgment. You begin to trust yourself and your own judgment, knowing that your decisions are guided by your values and not by the desire to impress others. This authenticity creates a deeper sense of fulfillment because you are living and working in alignment with who you truly are. You no longer feel the need to conform to external expectations or to mold your actions to fit someone else's definition of success. Instead, you follow your own path, making decisions that are true to your values and your vision. Internal fulfillment leads to greater self-confidence. As you continue to work silently without seeking external validation, you begin to recognize the value of your efforts. The satisfaction that comes from achieving progress, no matter how small, reinforces your belief in your abilities. You start to see that you are capable of achieving your goals on your own terms, and this builds an unshakable confidence that doesn't rely on the approval of others. This self-confidence is rooted in your own understanding of your progress rather than in how others perceive you. It is a quiet, steady confidence that comes from knowing you are doing the right work, regardless of external recognition. The journey toward internal fulfillment also fosters a deeper sense of peace. When you stop chasing external rewards, you let go of the anxiety that often accompanies the need for recognition. You are no longer waiting for the next compliment, promotion, or social media acknowledgement to feel validated. Instead, you find peace in the knowledge that you are already on the right path and that every step you take is a meaningful part of your journey. This peace comes from the trust you place in yourself and your ability to create the life you desire, independent of outside opinions. Internal fulfillment transforms the way you approach work and success. It removes the need for constant validation and redirects your focus onto the things that truly matter: growth, purpose, authenticity, and self-trust. When you are motivated by internal fulfillment, you are able to continue working in silence with unwavering commitment and determination, even when no one is watching. You find deep satisfaction in knowing that your efforts are meaningful, not because others recognize them, but because they align with your values and bring you closer to your goals. This fulfillment becomes a source of strength that drives you forward, creating a life of purpose and lasting achievement. In conclusion, the journey of working hard in silence is one of the most powerful paths to personal growth and lasting success. It teaches you the invaluable lesson of focusing on the process rather than the outcome, cultivating self-discipline, and building resilience in the face of challenges. By detaching from the need for immediate rewards and external validation, you shift your attention inward, where true fulfillment lies. This shift fosters a deep sense of purpose, authenticity, and inner confidence that empowers you to stay committed to your goals, even in the absence of external recognition. Working in silence does not mean being isolated or avoiding collaboration. Rather, it is about finding strength in quiet dedication, trusting the journey, and embracing the process of continuous self-improvement. As you continue to invest in your growth, the results will inevitably manifest not as quick, fleeting rewards, but as lasting, meaningful success that you have earned through consistent, focused effort. When you work hard in silence, the fulfillment you find along the way becomes its own reward, and the recognition when it comes will feel like the natural consequence of your dedication. Ultimately, the internal satisfaction you gain from working in alignment with your values, free from the pressure of external expectations, is what sustains you through every challenge and propels you toward a life of purpose and achievement.